right now, where are they? 10-1?
10 and 9 and 2, 9 and 1, or they're either 9 and 2, 9 and 1, or 10 and
Oh,
1
they're
or 9
about to
and
be
2. I don't know.
10-2 after the Bulls beat them tonight, but they're 10-1 at the moment.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson coming back soon, hopefully in the next month or so here. Hopefully, maybe even sooner with after the Achilles. Do you think that he's going to be a hindrance, or is he going to help the Golden State Warriors?
Um, I'd say a little bit of both. I think because the Golden State Warriors are playing so well right now without him, anybody or any player that comes into that equation is going to give them a little bit of a hiccup. It's not going to be, oh, Clay's back. He hasn't played in 2 years. He's just going to jump right in and flow. I mean, it's going to take a while to build that chemistry, only because there's a lot of new players on that team and a lot of guys that are playing their role. Jordan Poole is playing out of his freaking mind right now. He is scoring and in place of Klay Thompson right now. And I think that because, like we talked about earlier in this segment, we talked about how, there's some players that don't get a lot of attention and recognition. And when they do and they step up, they do really well. Jordan Poole right now is showing his worth. And I guarantee you, after he's done with the Warriors, he's going to go on to another team and be a top shooting guard because he's just showing his worth with the Golden State Warriors. I mean, he's taking that initiative and he's doing great. But I think once Klay gets back and gets integrated with the system and gets back to playing in his old ways, I think Golden State is possibly, the way they're playing right now, early prediction, they're definitely a contender in the West, 100%. And when James Wiseman comes back, he is a young, hungry center who was a top three rookie last year. So we will see what happens with him. But once their whole team is back and they build up that build within the system and they build up that chemistry again, they're going to be pretty freaking deadly, only because their bench is playing so great right now. There's one player on Golden State I'm missing, Gary Payton II. He is an absolute athletic freak. They signed him to a 10-day contract, and then he exceeded expectations in that 10-day contract, and they're keeping him, which is very smart because he is extremely athletic. He runs the floor really well. He brings a different element off the bench for that Golden State team. Because Clay's not out. Because usually in transition, Golden State's really trying to get to move the ball and get some wide open jump shots because that's just how their offense is. With Gary Payton Jr. running the floor with them, I mean, Steph's able to throw it up. I mean, the alley-oops that he had, I mean, he had one where he caught and he just threw it behind his back. I mean, he had one where Steph threw it up and he just boom, like the guy is a beast. I mean, to sign a guy like that after him going through that 10-day contract, I mean that's remarkable. So overall, I think Golden State is going to be, right now, if Klay comes in, he might disrupt the flow a little bit, but overall, he's going to jump right back in. But with the way they're playing right now, Klay Thompson coming back and playing the way he usually plays, I mean, keep in mind, OB, it's been 2 years since he's played. I mean, when last time he played,
All,
Kawhi Leonard was on the Raptors.
all I gotta
I
say,
mean,
is
what's up?
shooter's gonna shoot.
You're right. He's going to shoot. I mean, that's his job. Him and Steph Curry, Splash Brothers, baby. I mean, they're just going to come in and they're just going to rain threes. And Draymond is a great facilitator, does all the dirty work. So overall, when they get their stride back, they're going to be a contender in the West. But I do think, since Klay hasn't played in 2 years, him coming back is going to take a little bit of a while to get back in the groove. But when he does, they're going to be deadly. What do you think?
I think he's gonna come right in and he's just gonna start hitting those threes. I've been watching those shooter rounds that he's been doing. He hasn't missed a shot. He is just laser focused, just like he always has been. Steph's playing at an all-time high again. Steph's going to be taking most of the workload off of him. Jordan Poole, like you said, he's gone out of his mind. You have Gary Payton II coming out. You've got Andrew
Don't forget
Wiggins.
Iguodala off the bench.
Yep,
we didn't talk. We haven't talked about him.
Iguodala's there again to take the workload off. And that's another core person. Draymond's playing like his old self again. You've got Andrew Wiggins again now there, and he's been playing really well. I think he's going to seamlessly fit in at that shooter spot. He's going to sit on the wing. He's not going to need to do much, and he's just going to be knocking down threes as everyone is driving to the basket and pulling his defender off of him. Or he's going to pull a defender out, and everyone else is going to be able to drive to the basket a lot easier because everyone knows Klay Thompson's going to shoot, and Klay Thompson is deadly as he is, and you never lose your shooting. Klay Thompson
And
is
he's
going
a
to be
great defender. He's a
yep.
great two-way player. He could defend,
We'll see. We'll
he can
see
defend
after
anybody.
the Achilles and the
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
ACL.
You're right.
He might not have that lateral movement as much, but he's still going to be able to shoot offensively. People are not going to be able to sag off of him like they would an Andrew Wiggins or Jordan Poole as much. And I think he's going to really draw those defenders away, and he's going to make it really difficult for a lot of teams to sit there and guard the paint when you've got Klay Thompson again sitting on the wing. I can't tell you how excited I am to see him come back and see what they can do as a duo, because when it was before Kevin Durant went there and it was Klay and Steph, Golden State was a very exciting team to watch, and just to see those two just light it up and just pick apart the defenses with their cuts and their ball passing, just top notch. I can't wait to see that Golden State team like come back to their peak performance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, Obi. When Golden State was really good, I hated them. The only player
I
I
know you
really
did.
liked him. Yeah, the only player I really liked on the team was Klay. I liked Klay because he was a great 3-and-D guy, one of the best in the league. He's just like a way better Danny Green. It's like, really. But now that Golden State is kind of older and they're just like really, really good, and Steph Curry has matured a lot. I think that I'm actually kind of fond of the Golden State Warriors. I never really liked them, but I mean, think of this, man. When they're fully healthy, you have Steph Curry at the 1, you got Klay Thompson at the 2, you got Andrew Wiggins at the 3, you got Draymond Green at the 4, you got James Wiseman at the 5. That is an insane lineup. And then you keep in mind you got a former a Finals MVP like Andre Iguodala coming off the bench for you. You got Gary Payton, who's athletic. You got Jordan Poole. I mean, they got weapons, man. When they're fully they might, I don't know, they might win it this year. I mean, that's a super early prediction, but they're exciting. They're not like Golden State back in the day where everybody hated them because they were so good, right? Like they were like, oh, they're so good. Like they got Kevin Durant too, and blah, 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 blah.
I think you're the only one that really hated them that much before
No.
Kevin Durant got there.
Oh, I didn't, I didn't like Steph. I just didn't like his game, and I thought he was a cocky little ass. But I mean, now he's really matured, and he's, I kind of like him actually. I mean, he's the greatest shooter ever. You got to give credit when credit's due, obviously. But I mean, man, it's I don't know. The Golden State is exciting. They're a really exciting team to watch in the West. Like if I was sitting around and I was like, damn, which team do I want to watch? Like going through League Pass and Golden State's, I'd be like, I'll watch some Golden State. They're not bad. I mean, I kind of like them now. So we'll see what happens when Klay gets back. But overall, they're the best team in the league right now, record wise, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. And you know what? Nobody gives a lot of credit to Steve Kerr. No one ever does. Everyone's like, oh, Steve Kerr's not a good coach because he's got great players. When you have great players, coaching's easy. That's not true. I'm a coach. Okay. Coach Mike, obviously. Okay. I have coached my past AAU team that I coached was a top 30 team, independent team in the state of Illinois. And they were all phenomenal, individually talented players. And just because you have a group of talented individual players doesn't mean your job is easier. It's actually a lot harder because you got to get all those guys to be cohesive. You got to get all those guys to play in a system and give up personal pedigrees and personal stats and put it for the team. So Steve Kerr has been able to get Steph Curry, Klay, and Draymond Green, all three all-stars, and at their time, the best, three, group big three at the time being because of their efficiency level. And for Steve Kerr to get all those guys to play in the system and whatever, I mean, props to Steve Kerr. He doesn't get enough credit, honestly. And he's actually a really good coach, and he has a lot of experience with playing with great players, like when he was a player, when he played with Michael and Scotty. So kudos to Steve Kerr.
Yep. I agree that he has been one of the better coaches in the league over the past decade. How long has he been with them now? 6 years?
6 years. Oh my God. I feel he's been there forever. I don't know. He's been there for like 8 years, maybe 8-10 years. No, probably not that long. But I mean, Steph's been, well, think about it like this. Steph has been with Golden State his whole career. Steph's been in the league for how many years? A lot.
So Steve Kerr's been head coach since 2014-2015 season.
So what is that, like 7 years?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. This will be
Eight
his eighth
years.
years.
Well deserved. He's a great coach,
Yep.
and he doesn't get enough credit, honestly. But for him to get all those guys to play in his system, and people look at him and he's like, he's not a good coach, and he's a good coach, man. Every NBA player, every NBA coach is a good coach.
Thank you for watching this episode of Coach Mike and OB. Full episodes of this podcast will be released every Monday, and segments such as this will be released every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.